Hey guys, Ravedge here, and today is going to be my first vid covering the PTR patch notes for 5.2. I am playing on the PTR and I've been testing a number of things, and today actually they released the new level 75 ability Storm, Earth, and Fire. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a complete breakdown of what's changed and my personal thoughts on it. Now real quick, obviously these are my opinions. I've tested some of my own, but a lot of these might be subject to change. So I will also, once 5.2 is released and on live servers, I will more than happily go ahead and put out a vid there of what my final decisions are on things. Alright, but let's go ahead and hop right in. The first thing we'll talk about is the new level 60 talent called Ring of Peace. Ring of Peace is a 40-yard range. It's a minute and a half cooldown, and it is an 8-yard, 8-second disarm and silence. You can put this on yourself, your party members in arena, battlegrounds. You could do it to a certain target, focus target. There is no positional requirement, meaning if I wanted to do it on a target dummy, I don't have to be facing like I am right now. I could actually be facing the other way and still do it. This spell is definitely going to be one of the best things about playing a monk now, because it's honestly one of the best utilities in our arsenal. Between Ring of Peace to Leg Sweep, Ring of Peace I'm going to take hands down pretty much every single time, unless I'm running with, say, another monk, and maybe if the DR or whatnot, but still, this, I can't really see a reason not to use Ring of Peace. Ring of Peace has a bunch of different uses. Obviously, the silence and disarm. Sometimes if it's like TSG, where you're going to have a lot of melee on top of you, where it's just going to be craziness, I'll put Ring of Peace on myself, knowing that they're going to be disarmed then. Most people will go, oh, just save it for a healer and bomb the healer or whatnot. No, good healers have already picked up on the PTR of when you pop that move, pop a cooldown. Or, you know, Pallies will bubble, whatnot. Some people avoid it, some don't, but I feel this will be it'll be not overpowered, but a very strong ability at first, but people will learn how to not counter it, but wiggle room, be able to handle it and not have it be so terrible for them. So I feel Ring of Peace is going to be great to use. Little tricks with it I've already caught on to using it with. You know, Shadow Priests, when you're doing arena, they will sometimes life swap with their partner if you get him really low. I will then turn to the S Priest and start hitting them, and usually they'll disperse. Little they know, I'm just going to try and stay on him the whole time, because the last second of that dispersion before it fades, I'm going to go ahead and put Ring of Peace on him, knowing he can then not heal, bubble, or anything for 8 seconds, and then I'll usually kill him with my partner or solo at that point. Another great way is against a mage. If you want, you can force an ice block very easily on a mage now, because of the simple fact that once you close the gap, or as you're closing the gap on a mage, you go ahead and put Ring of Peace on him. He's silenced. You can Fist of Fury him knowing he cannot blink, and usually they will ice block right there because they're freaking out and don't know what's happening, and their health is dropping very quickly. Another thing that usually happens is they will, say they do ice block it, there, you already blew the ice block, and hopefully with your other cooldowns you can kill him right after it. However, if you do get lucky enough to make a mage ice block before using Ring of Peace, it's pretty much going to be a good game for you. You're going to be able to, once he comes out, just go ahead, put your silence on him, and then just do some crazy damage real quickly. With your Tiger up and everything else, you're just going to drop him at that point. So that's going to cover Ring of Peace real quick so you can see what it looks like. I'm just going to say I'm over here hitting this target dummy, blah, 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 blah. And then I go ahead and boom, he's Ring of Peace. Now they actually changed the animation of it. It actually now looks really cool. It normally just was like a gold ring, and yeah, that's a pretty wide range as you saw. Anything in there that's hostile will be silenced and disarmed. So that's a great spell. Another really great spell, there's a bunch of great monk changes, but this one I really, really am liking a lot. It's called Nimble Brew. Nimble Brew is a 2-minute cooldown, and it's for Brewmasters and Windwalkers only, and it's kind of like a second trinket. The reason I say kind of is because it doesn't work on everything. First off, it clears you of roots, stun, and fear effects, and then reduces the duration of any future such effects by 60% for 6 seconds. What that means is, say a priest puts down his Siphene, and then you trinket the first one with your Nimble Brew. When it puts up the second one, number one, it's going to be DR'd to half, and then it's going to get cut down again by 60%. This is really great for, honestly, fears is one of the biggest enemies of a monk. Stuns too, but honestly, I would say fear is their biggest thing. Me and Eat Mopine, when we do our dual commentaries, we're laughing half the time whenever he is feared or whatnot because it's so long, and I'm like, there should be elevator music, and it's really annoying. So this is a spell you got to learn to use in your arsenal, when to use it, because you don't want to trinket, actually use your trinket, like if you're a human, every man for himself, or your medallion if you're not. But then, oh, now you have to eat a full sheep when you know you could have just, nimble brewed out of a stun. So it's something you got to get used to as well. The next change I'm going to talk about is Chi Wave. Chi Wave now does 100% more damage and healing. No longer costs Chi, but the only downside is it has a 15-second cooldown now. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say these are great changes, and this is the Chi Wave macro I've been using. All it does is it will cast Chi Wave on myself first, so it'll do 4 healing, 3 damage parts. And the reason I do this is because the heal is crazy strong now. And if you're interested in what this macro is, it's /cast bracket target equals whatever your tune name might be. So mine, obviously, Ravedge, bracket space Chi Wave. I will go ahead and actually copy and paste directly into the vid description on this one, so you can look down there for that. So what this will do is it'll obviously heal me first and bounce to there. Now, between all of our standard, healing, whether it's a, healing spheres, expel harm, and Chi Wave, if we do all 3 of those, we can do some crazy burst healing. So see, I got my 3 set up there. Now I actually need to take some fall damage. Hopefully I don't kill myself. Okay, that did a good chunk. Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. Alright, cool. I'm at around 45k. I'm going to do Chi Wave. I just went to full health from like 40k. As you saw there. What I did was, obviously, Chi Wave, let it do the full healing. Then I Transcendence to where my healing spheres were, so I got the 3 healing spheres, and then I expelled harm. Now, I know I had some crits in there. I'm going to go ahead and read what I actually did healing-wise. Okay, so Chi Wave did 26k, 38k, 38k, 38k. Healing Sphere did 37, 37, 76,000. And then I did Expel Harm for a, if I'm adding those up correctly, roughly 47,000, 47,500. So yeah, you can do some crazy healing like that. And obviously, when you're like LOS, you can't just spam heals other than doing Healing Sphere spam, which is only so effective because obviously energy cost. So I feel this is definitely something that was done properly, because the nerf to Chi Wave they did in 5.1 was a little too much in my mind, because we need that to be able to survive and last longer. So this is a great heal. I'm definitely going to be using it. And they did change Zen Sphere and Chi Burst accordingly as well. But still, I am going to say that this one is the strongest to use. What they did next, actually, is Zen Sphere. It now has a limit of 2, was 1. It now detonates when either the recipient reaches 35% health or the Zen Sphere is dispelled. And it no longer costs Chi as well. So they did buff the healing on that a little bit too. But I just love the burst healing of Chi Wave, especially in a melee. You could just be like, Chi Wave, and then 100k health will just come back like that almost. It's really, really strong. And Chi Burst I never use because I'm never casting, other than Crackling Jade Lightning here and there. That's about it. Next change they did is Path of Blossoms has been removed. I didn't really care. I never really used it that much, and I'm okay with that. So no big deal there. The next change, obviously with Ring of Peace being here, Deadly Reach is no longer in our talent tree, because you know what? They gave us Deadly Reach. We now have Deadly Reach no matter what. 20-yard paralysis with no talent required. Awesome. Big 2 thumbs up from me. Now, also, another change they did with paralysis is it's now a physical, non-magical effect and can no longer be dispelled, grounded, or spell reflected. And that is huge, because knowing that I can go ahead and do this to a DPS in a 3s match and their healer is not going to be able to dispel it is just awesome. So not having to worry about warrior spell reflecting it and all that. It's just all around great change together, and I feel Blizzard finally did something once again proper for monks. So yay for that. The next change is also, it might sound small to other people, but it is just a huge change for me. Tiger's Lust and Touch of Karma no longer cost Chi. Tiger's Lust wasn't as big of a deal because it was only 1 Chi before, but Touch of Karma being such a big, defensive cooldown and offensive, kind of, if you use it like that, but costing 2 chi was just ridiculous. You know, every other class has their big defensive cooldowns where they can just, boom, do it. You know, Pally's a bubble, and Priest will disperse, and, you know, stuff like that. We had to then build up our resource bar to use it. Like, no, that was just stupid. For how, we're not necessarily squishy as monks, but we could get definitely, like, destroyed by a warrior and hunter or whatnot, where we would be able to even get off a touch of karma quick enough. And sometimes, you know what, you get it off and they still kill you within like 10 seconds. So altogether, I feel this is positive change, and I'm happy that they finally implemented it. Next thing is charging Oxwave is now a 30-second cooldown. Doesn't really affect me because I will either be using Ring of Peace or Leg Sweep, never charging Oxwave, so nothing too bad there. But hey, cooldown reduction never hurt. Dampen Harm can now be used while stunned, and its cooldown will now begin when used, not when the effects ends. Which, that's cool and all, but I don't use this in Arena because it never really gets to proc. For it to proc against me with my health pool, it would have to be 72,800 damage or higher. Now, yeah, Warriors can do 300k damage in like 5 hits, but you know what? It's increments. It's 60k, whatever. It's rarely up that high. Sometimes it is, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't proc enough to really use all that. And honestly, I'd rather have diffuse magic or healing elixirs. And the reason I say that is because they also have buffed healing elixirs. Now, what they have done with healing elixirs is it was originally it would heal 10% of your health, which was good altogether. But now it does 15%, which I feel is not necessarily needed, but definitely a good change because for how big of a cooldown it kind of is, meaning you have to consume your Tiger Eye Brew to get it. So right there, I just lost 120k, and I gained around 55k health back from just consuming it. But that's the thing. To actually use the healing elixirs, I have to consume my Tiger Eye Brew stack. So using it as a heal, it kind of was a double-bladed sword or double-edged sword because of the simple fact that it was awesome it was a heal, but at the same time you had to sacrifice damage by doing it. Well, not really sacrifice it. You get to use the damage, but you didn't get to build up your Tiger Eye Brew stacks. But still, now with how Tiger Eye Brew builds up a little bit easier, I'm more okay with this. The next change real quick is Chi Torpedo. Chi Torpedo now does an extra 15% more damage, which I use that when I Mistweaver here and there, so it's cool for that, but overall, not too important to me right now. The next one is actually a change to Healing Spheres, and I really like this. I'm going to go ahead and put some Healing Spheres down here, and they have a minute duration now, and if they do not heal anyone or get used up, they will actually heal me for half the amount when they expire, so it doesn't go to waste. I feel that's an awesome change, and it's very rewarding. Also, for the Mistweavers, with your Mastery, which is Gift of the Serpent, I believe, it now makes your Healing Spheres have a 30-second duration, and the same effect applies to that. So it's just, once again, more healing in a sense. The next change is, let's go Specialization, Mistweaver. Yeah, I believe it's called Cocoon. Yeah. Life Cocoon is no longer dispellable, which that's kind of a big deal. And I know most of you are Windwalkers and you wouldn't know what I'm talking about with this, but the people who do play Mistweaver, I know they're finally really happy about that because Life Cocoon was a, number one, a 2-minute cooldown. It does a big bubble, like that big green orb where people are floating around in it. It absorbs 158k damage with my gear, which is just blue, bloodthirsty gear. Or dreadful gear, I should say. Stuck in Kata mindset, huh? But yeah, now it's no longer dispellable because whenever people would pop that in Arena, it would get instantly dispelled by Shammies, you know, priests, mages, everything. Me and my mage, I know to spell steal that because it's crazy good. It increases how much they get healed by HOTS by 50%, and it's usable as stunned and all. It's just crazy. So that being dispelled all the time was just a waste of a 2-minute cooldown. So that was a good change. Next thing, Zen Focus, which is the 4-piece Mistweaver bonus. Whenever you would consume Thunder Focus Tea, which I think is this, yes, it will make you immune to silences, which I feel is awesome because, quite frankly, every other healer has something that makes them immune to silences. And monks didn't. They did, but it didn't work. And people were all over the forums like, why is this broken? The set piece isn't working right. Blizzard finally got around to fixing it, so I feel that's not necessarily a change, but thank God they took care of it, because I know that had a lot of monks frustrated in Arena. The next thing is, now with this change and them actually taking care of it, you can no longer use Thunder Focus Tea while already silenced. So you can't use it to break a silence and then be silence immune for however long the duration. I think it's 5 seconds. And then the healing spheres change, which I said before. They only heal for 50% of the amount, though, when they expire. So you gotta take note of that. And the last thing for Mistweaver's sake is Zoom the White Tiger. For if you're a Mistweaver and you spec that, it will be more target smart. Like when you actually cast it, it'll stick on that target better. Because I know it tend to go passive and reset when it really shouldn't have. Well, they finally went ahead and took care of that. So I feel that was a good change. So that wraps up the Mistweaver part. There wasn't really that much change-wise to them. Hopefully, if you do play Mistweaver, all these were positive changes for you. If not, let me know, just so I keep in the loop on it. The next thing I'm going to cover is the Windwalker changes. I'm going to go ahead and cover the basic ones and finish out with a new level 75 ability, because that's got a little bit of theory crafting, and it'll take a little bit of me talking. First thing I want to talk about is our mastery is gone. Combo Breaker, which was the chance for free blackout kicks and Tiger Palms, is now just a passive ability we get at level 15 that does, I think it's 12% chance altogether. Yeah, 12% chance for it to proc, which is awesome. But now you're probably saying, well, if they got rid of that mastery, what do we have now? This is where I just smile. The new mastery is Bottled Fury. Bottled Fury increases the damage bonus provided by Tiger Eye Brew by 0.2% per mastery stack. Now, that might sound really low as 0.2, but roughly I have reforged towards mastery to go ahead and test this out. I have an extra 2.98 mastery increase there. So my Tiger Eye Brew, when I pop it, gives me 3.98% damage increase per stack. Now, this is huge. I'm going to explain that a little bit more once I go down this list, so let me just jump to the next part. However, now, Tiger Eye Brew now only gives you 1% damage per stack instead of the original 2%, but it's now improved by Bottled Fury, obviously, with the percentage, and here's another key part. Tiger Eye Brew now gains 1 charge after you're spending 2 chi, which they actually changed today. It is now costing 3 chi to get 1 stack of Tiger Eye Brew, and I'm going to show you that real quick. Okay, I did, well, okay, there was 1 stack. I think I already had leftover combo plans. Let's go ahead and try that again. See, I didn't get from just those 2 spent. It takes 3 to get the 1 Tiger Eye Brew instead of 4. Now, the reason they changed that is because with only requiring 2, if you're PvEing on a boss, you constantly had up your Tiger Eye Brew pretty much consistently, which is just giving crazy damage output. This is going to reduce how often it is up. Not crazy amounts, but I understand why they made the change, and I'm okay with it, quite frankly. Tiger Eye Brew also now will stack up to 20 times, meaning you can, if you're just building up, etc., and you're waiting for a time to use your cooldowns, you can build up to like 17, 18 stacks, no problem. However, when you consume the brew, it's not going to do all 17 stacks and convert it to extra damage. It's only going to do it based on 10 stacks. It only will remove 10 at a time. So in a sense, if you get to 20 stacks, you could do, drink Tiger Eye Brew once, have the damage increase, and then right after do it again, because there is no cooldown. So that is kind of nice, but usually in arena speaking wise, I'll be every 10% popping Tiger, or 10 stacks popping Tiger Eye Brew pretty much. Now, that being said, I have, like I said, switched out a couple pieces and bought stuff that has mastery on it, like the cape and whatnot, and I reforged the mastery. So now I get around almost, when I have 10 stacks and pop it, I'm getting 39.8% damage increase. So, as of right now, I'm using mastery. That might change, so if you are one who wants to think about doing that, go ahead and try it, or tell me what you think about it, and then obviously, if things change, I might change accordingly what I want to use at that point. Real quick, I just gotta find something real quick. Okay, there we go. And that's pretty much covering the Windwalker changes, except for the last thing, and this just came out today. It's a new level 75 ability called Storm, Earth, and Fire. Now, the spell readout is the Windwalker can summon up to 2 elemental duplicates that mirror damaging abilities that the monk uses while they are active. For each spirit summoned, the monk's damage is reduced. 1 spirit causes a monk and the spirit to deal 60% of the monk's normal damage, while 2 spirits will cause the monk and both active spirits to deal 40% of the monk's damage. Each spirit lasts until the ability is cancelled or the spirit targets die or otherwise become unavailable. Now, right now in the PTR, they are not targetable, and they do not die from what I've seen, so I think that's a bug. But as in, if you did the math real quick, the max damage output will be 120% your normal damage. Now, talking with Emopie and testing with it a bit, is in Arena 6, you can only have one of these elements, I guess you could say, on a target at once. Okay, so like, you watch, I could only do it once. Right there. See how now it's right on it like that, and it's just attacking it. I cannot do this spell again on the same target. As you see, it says only 1 elemental spirit on a target at a time. So then I can target this guy and do 1 more. And I can't do any more. What I did there is I actually canceled it by hitting the spell 1 more time and brought him back, because you can only have the 2. Now, these will also stun accordingly. Like, if you do Fist of Fury, it will do that. It will not use talent spells, but your main spells it will. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I mean by that. So I will go ahead, and now I have, you know, my other guy. As you saw, it will do whatever I'm doing. Like, watch. If I Fist of Fury, see him Fist of Fury, and it will stun the target. Now, this is definitely going to be one of those things where, in Arena, I might use this to stun a healer LOS. What I mean by that is, watch. Say this is a healer right here. I'm going to go ahead and pop another one onto him, and then when my Fist of Fury comes up, I'm going to go ahead and do that and watch. You'll see he'll get Fist of Fury when I'm not even targeting him. And boom. Notice he is Fist of Fury stunned. This has got so much potential, and this is where I feel like the skill cap's going to come in for monks. If you're going to know how to use your Storm, Earth, and Fire, hopefully it'll get acronymed or something later, but if you use your spirits, I guess I'll say, if you use them properly, obviously me and this guy hitting the same target are doing some pretty good damage on it, number 1. Number 2, that guy obviously being able to stun is going to be really awesome. Because if I'm doing this to kill a target and he's doing it to stun a healer, and then I go ahead and ring a piece him right after it, oh, the damage is just going to be crazy. So this is going to be something that's going to be subject to change, obviously. And this has just gone live today. So I'm not going to write anything in stone on it. It's going to be, you know, I'm going to have to test it more and more. As of right now, I really do like that spell. And this is how I'm going to say it for people who are just starting out using the spell or have no idea how to start it off with. When you use this on your target that you're going to want to be killing, it's going to obviously boost your damage more. Because every time you split it, you're losing damage. So with those 3, and I had the 1 on the healer, like that, me and the other spirit that were hitting my target, this guy here, were only doing 80% of my potential damage. Because 40% of it was getting dipped into the healer. So as you see, it's kind of pick your poison in that sense. If you want to use it for a good CC, you can do that. And then you could cancel them and resummon another one back on your target. This is something that's going to have to be tested more in depth, obviously. But honestly, I feel this is going to be a great spell. And if you are on the PTR, the only thing I can suggest for this is practice. Get very good. Practice, 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 practice. Practice using it, paying attention, using spells accordingly. So that being said, that is what I'm going to wrap up with this video on. This is all the 5.2 changes covering Mistweaver and Windwalker. Mistweaver, derp. And also, sorry, real quick, if you're a Brewmaster, the only change I've seen is they changed their mastery where Elusive Brawler now provides 25% more stagger per mastery rating, which I guess is just going to help the tanking part. But that being said, like I said, it's going to wrap up this video. If you feel I may have missed something or if you have a question, please comment below and let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions as soon as possible. Also, if you did like what you saw, please like, fave, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you, obviously, I know I'm psyched about the 5.2 changes. I hope they don't change anything before it goes live. What do you guys think? What would you like to still see? And are these changes enough for you? Do you feel it was exactly what monks needed? Comment below and let me know. I'm really intrigued to see what the community has to say. That being said, like I said, I'm going to wrap this video. Thanks for watching, and this is Ravedge saying, I hope to see you in the BGs.